Today on the Wise News Network, I'm Rusty Wise.
And I'm Jermaine Gash.
And we are in Cherryville, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte on the East Coast. And the town itself has been a little torn for the past 6 months. The Cherryville Historical Association building that they are located in is for sale and has been for sale since January.
Yes.
Now, on June 12th, the City Council did vote to accept a $400,000 offer. And so now that process is going through the upset process.
Yes. If you guys did not know, the museum is open on Saturdays from 10 until 2 right here on Main Street in Cherryville, North Carolina. We're here today. We definitely want to do a walkthrough and take a tour. We understand that actually quite a few people haven't had the opportunity to check it out, so we definitely wanted to do that today.
Yeah, we're going to take a little tour. We're going to talk to some people, talk to some of the board members, and see what the Cherryville Historical Museum is all about. Located at 109 East Main Street in Cherryville, North Carolina. It's quite a unique museum. If you hadn't seen it, let's go inside and have a look.
Let's go.
And we're walking in the museum, and as you can see, the first thing that people see is the Cherryville Fire Department's fire truck.
Yes.
And they call it Granny. And of course the fire pole is there that goes all the way up to the second floor. And one thing I noticed when you come in, there's sweatshirts for sale, postcards, cherry china.
Yes.
Is that what that's called?
Our cookbooks are a big seller.
The Cherryville New Year shooters have
sure do.
DVDs, patches. I see a mug back there and a statue. And they do take donations, I see.
Oh, yes. Anytime. Any day.
Now, the museum is open on Saturdays from 10 to 2.
It is. And by appointment only at other times. But we are more than happy to come up here and meet people and work on their genealogy or just show them around.
Now, this up here it says this building was donated to the city of Cherryville by the estate of Claude and Mabel Beam, with the understanding that the building would be used as a museum.
Yes.
So that's been up there for
since
inception. 86, I guess it was.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
But this is the main entrance.
And you'll notice our picture
with the granny
with the same fire truck outside this building.
So the building itself has not been changed since 1911, really. The interior looks about the same. And I think this may have been a dirt floor at one time.
Yes, I believe we put that in.
The Historical Association sort of remodeled the building but left it intact, but they put these brick pavers down for the heaviness, I guess, of the fire truck.
I think so too.
Also on the first floor, we have the Cherryville New Year Shooters exhibit, which is fairly new. That was developed I believe about a year ago. I helped on that. A lot of other people helped on that, and thousands of dollars was spent.
Oh, we know.
On this.
We love it. We're so excited to have it.
So around New Year's, you'll hear the New Year shooters. If you don't see them, you'll definitely hear them.
Oh, you definitely know they're around.
Cotton was a huge in Cherryville. This is a cotton mill exhibit. Carlton Yarn Mills.
Yes, right here we have all the mills represented. And then some of the movers and shakers over here. And this is one we did recently, Pat. Pat has been responsible for 99% of our exhibits. She does a great job on those. And this is actually a conservation camp.
Yeah, I believe there was one also near Hauser Pines area over there.
I think that's
the Hauser Pine areas. Yeah,
but I believe this was created during the Depression to give people jobs and fixing our roads, doing roads.
So the exhibits are changed, I guess, rotated a little bit.
Yes, we do, and we try to get traveling exhibits too if we can.
Well, now this is, I guess, the offices area of the city where they had their offices. I know this is an original area right here, which is original desk.
Yes, it was.
And the city of Cherryville was incorporated in 1872, I see. Here's old camera exhibit.
Yes, this is one with those glass tintypes, and these are actually families from Gaston County. We've had this exhibit a long time. Maybe you need to change it out.
Church exhibit.
We tried to represent all the churches in town. Different things came from different churches.
I guess that's an old organ.
Yes.
Oh, that's an old pump organ. I see the pump.
Isn't that cool?
And this is the Hal Strap exhibit, which
Yeah.
Hal was basically the leader and instrumental on getting the museum here.
He sure was.
He was very instrumental in history.
Oh, he was very motivated.
And he also, once he got this established, they purchased the railroad depot.
They did.
And turned it into a museum for the railroad, and then gave it to the city.
Yes, we deeded it to the city. Weren't we nice?
Yeah, so all the repairs and most of the HVAC and repairs on the depot and this building has been performed by the association and paid for by the association.
Absolutely. Start off.
Yeah, there's a lot of paintings in here, a lot of history.
This right here, Lem Nolan. He was from Krause, and he did a lot of folk art, and those are sought after, actually, is what I found out. But we have some. We love them.
But this area was sort of the offices, but also they have a bank exhibit. This is a teller, I guess, an exhibit of a bank. They also have an office here for the museum. An old piano here. Piano was from the home of Mel and Kate Rudisell, Cherryville Music Club, 1926.
I bet a lot of people can find their relatives in that picture, for sure.
Oh, it has the names down there.
When we are working on these are works in progress. We debate back and forth what we want to do, what exhibit we would like to put together, and yeah, we take our time and we do it right.
Here's a display from the Shield Museum.
Yes, we've had that a long time.
Of some local varmints, I guess you could say.
Yes.
A mink, a mouse, a mole. And I think that's been discussed too by the museum, is start having some minerals and gems of the
Yes,
area,
we'd love to.
and getting some more science type exhibits too. Now, as we enter the Sports Hall of Fame, Scoop Kaiser was a dedicated sports writer for the Cherryville Eagle, and that's his typewriter. And there's been some traveling exhibits wanting to come here. Like we said, a major one was coming, but they said it needed to be more diverse and not just baseball.
Exactly.
So I think they're trying to get more diversity into the Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes, so we can attract those kind of attraction. We can attract some of those traveling exhibits.
Yeah, and I think they're working on getting a lot of stuff digitized and put on a digital screen.
Yes, we've got everybody that's ever been on the Sports Hall of Fame right here.
Yeah.
You just come in and you just turn it on and you watch it. We have Madge Litton hat shop. She made a lot of hats in Cherryville.
Madge Litton hat shop. Dresses, hats.
Rubies.
You know, people dressed up. When they came uptown, they dressed up. If you look at the old pictures, the ladies were dressed up and the men were dressed up in top hats.
Yes.
And, you know, people, when they went to town, especially during the events, they dressed up.
Oh, they did. I think Cherryville people still dress up. But that Ruby's dress shop was really big.
And then, of course, here's the Cherryville timeline, which basically starts in the 1740s and goes all the way through 1956, where there's a picture of that bull on the wall.
The whole thing, actually. Good picture.
And there's actually two entrances to go down in the basement. That's where we're going next. Through the dress area, you could go down that way.
Yes.
But for the public, you can actually go down this way.
Yes, this is the best way to go.
I always thought this was interesting, where they actually have, I don't know, old cans and newspapers underneath the building. You can see, I guess when they were constructing
Yeah,
it.
I think so too.
That's kind of different. This is the basement. It's my understanding this area is where they had the first public restrooms in Cherryville.
Yes, it's behind here.
It was right here where they had the first public restroom. So I guess in 1911 was the first public restroom in Cherryville.
Thank goodness for that. Yes, we have a lot of stuff down here, and again, this is a work in progress, but this just represents an old grandmother's house.
Yeah, the old wood stove.
That
coal
wood stove
stove.
tells the tale.
Cherryville Fuel and Ice Company, which I remember was just right across the railroad track. And I know there's been storytelling here to where the kids can come, and I know they've had this in recent years. The kids could come and they'd have story time.
Yes.
And I know the elementary kids would come on certain days up here, and they would teach them all about the Cherryville history and read.
Did, yes, and we're working on getting that back too. And yes, we have a lot of school children come up here through the years.
This is a cool area here, I think, is the jail. And look at this steel door. And you put your plate of food there, and the inmates just ate off this plate. You know,
Yes,
you just
indeed.
ate your meal through these bars.
You weren't coming out for dinner.
And then this is where they kept the inmates. It's my understanding if it was a serious crime, they would go to Gastonia, but for lesser crimes, they would stay in here.
Yeah,
And there's some carved initials and dates, Clyde
here.
Queen. So I guess some of them stayed in here long enough to carve their names in
Got
here.
'em here, here, here.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Here's over here. We have Clyde. I don't want to give any last names, but we have someone, Loy.
And still has the original steel door on the back, which
Sure does.
that's
Coming out.
That's an original steel door with the rivets. Don't see that anymore.
No, you don't.
And this over here, what is this over here? The toilet. Okay. Now is this one of the original toilets?
Yes, I think that was
Yeah.
for the inmates.
Okay.
This one was.
Okay.
And I think the other two were for the public.
I got you. And then the staircase goes back up. So you see this building has 3 levels, has 2 staircases and 3 levels, and the building itself is a museum.
Oh, it
So
is,
you could,
absolutely.
the building is just so cool.
It is so cool. It's so cool. We love it.
So if people have not visited the museum, look at what they're missing
They're
out.
missing out. Please come before it's too late.
Yeah, on Saturdays 10 to 2.
And by appointment only. No, excuse me. You can make an appointment and we'll come up here and meet you and show you around and help you with your family history.
I ought to let people spend the night in here, the night at the museum.
We would love to do something like
I
that.
bet it gets creepy in here.
Oh, I bet it does too. I've already heard somebody. So I was sitting in the front by myself and I went, ah. And then sure enough, a second later, back toward the back, I heard somebody go, ah.
All right, we're going up on this top floor, the second floor of the museum. And now we're on the second floor of the Cherryville Historical Museum, and it is huge up here.
Yes, it is. It's beautiful. It's mind-blowing when you walk in.
This is still so fascinating because I actually have a kind of ties. My dad worked up here when I was a little girl. That would have been about 68 years ago. He worked in Cherryville, Miss Cherryville. We lived in Shelby. He worked up here, and we visited the ladies' dress shop. And I went to the dentist up here the first time, and my mama has a story about that I was not a young lady. We used to come to Cherryville all the time.
Well, everybody went uptown, so to speak, because that's where you had to go to get everything. You didn't have stores anywhere else. You walked to town and you had everything you could ever want in a half-a-mile area.
And it was safe because the story is that I ran out of the ladies' dress shop and Mother found me a block over and a block up. And I was about 4 years old and I was talking to some man. She didn't know who it was. That's one of the stories that she used to tell on me, but it was safe. You could sit, the kids, well, nobody was doing anything mean. We didn't know what that was back then.
Well, Cherryville is still a small town, and it's still fairly safe compared to other areas. And it's just a numbers game. The more population you have, the more issues you're going to have.
And if all this stuff goes away, what do we have? What's our legacy? What is the legacy here? And that's one thing I think they're trying to protect and to preserve is the legacy of these small towns, because they're going away and going to Walmart, and heaven forbid, but anyway. I love the architecture and the way that things used to be done. And I'm told that there was they had the fire department and they had the police department and the jail, and something else was in here, but there's part of where the judge sat and everything. So, this place is just full of history. And once it's gone, it's gone.
I know up here, the firemen were in the back and they slid down the pole, and then the courtroom was here. But it's amazing what all is in here. And I think a lot of people have not been in here in a while. Or ever. I think a majority of probably Cherryville citizens have never even been in this building.
And a lot of people will tell you, I didn't even know you were here. Well, okay, now you know. Now you know what is here and what is important. This is important stuff, because once these things go away, they're gone and we'll never get them back. But this is history, and it's a shame to destroy history. This is important stuff here. And anybody that loves history, even the young people that say they're not interested in it, this is history. And this is, to me, you cannot replace this.
So you allow cell phones in the building, so they can have their cell phones in the building for the kids.
As far as I know, they do. I don't have.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't want to be disturbed.
Well, cell phones are allowed.
Cell phones are allowed. Yes. You can bring your cell phone in, and actually you can use that to do referencing on some of these people.
Yeah, especially school projects and that sort of thing. This is a treasure trove for school projects.
Absolutely. And I think they ought to be teaching kids in school more about the local history, and I think they ought to be teaching them more about their genealogies, because a lot of these people that even up here in Cherryville do not realize that they actually are descended from Frederick Hambright. They are descended from Peter Forney, the Plunks, the Moonies, some of these other people that were actually the people who started this town, this county, this whole area. This is where it all started. It was right here in Gaston County, and there are so many important people, and it makes them that they should.
And this is the original bench where they tried cases in Cherryville.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, and has a robe there. So basically, the judge's chamber was in behind where the office is now, where they were working, sorting the pictures. And this is a huge room, huge room. These ceilings are at least 16-foot ceilings, I would say.
Oh, I would think 20.
Yeah.
This is what really makes it. You come up here and you don't expect ceilings this high.
And that's one thing about this museum. It's actually technically like a 3-story building. You've got the basement, the first level, and then we're on the second level. And we'll walk through the second level a little bit. And over here we have military exhibit, which has a lot of interesting things in it.
Yes, World War I, World War II.
Yeah, it's a lot of history here.
And this is our Civil War.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
my great-great-grandfather right there with the long, scraggly beard. Right there in the middle, standing up.
And then the medical exhibit. Here is a medical.
Pharmacy. This is pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, pharmacy and medical equipment. And then we got a
Allen Drug Family.
Allen Drug Family represented.
And a lot of this was donated by the families themselves.
Yes, sir. They were.
So I wonder what the families think about the museum possibly being moved or being extinguished.
I wonder too, but just know their things will be taken care of no matter what happens.
And then we have the old academy. This is when Cherryville Incorporated formed its own separate school district.
Mm-hmm. And this was built not too long ago. This was put in by Blair Beam.
Okay, this
Very
is actually a
talented.
replica.
Yes.
So the old
And
schoolhouse.
This is our genealogy room. We have a lot of family books we've collected. We have a lot of things in our storage. We have all the Shinokas.
And the Shinoka is the Cherryville High School
Yes, sir.
yearbook.
Yes.
So I guess originally this is where the firemen slept and had their quarters here because they could slide down
I
the
think so too.
fire pole. That is a long, long pole.
It is, and
Yeah.
I've slid down it multiple times over the years.
I guess they used to have that for the kids, but they stopped that for
Yes.
safety reasons.
It didn't have this cover on it when I
Yeah.
first volunteered back in the mid 90s.
Well, you can tell there's been thousands and thousands of hours put into this museum.
Oh, absolutely.
And the organization.
Yeah, it's a work in progress up here, but we have got a good start, and a lot of these books were donated by families, and people would like to come up here and look. We'll be glad to meet them up here anytime and work on their genealogy.
Now, this over here reminds me of a Frankenstein movie.
It sure does.
Now, what is
Kinda
this over
scary.
here?
This was the old way where you got a permanent in your hair, curls, and they actually, I believe I was told, they had some kind of apparatus. They rolled the hair in, and then they clip that on.
I mean, that looks like some electric shock treatment therapy.
Hit the switch, and you're curly.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite.
An old hair dryer. Old beautician tools. Wow.
Oh no! And look at this picture. This is my favorite picture. Who does that look like?
Randall. Oh, it looks like the Randall boys.
It looks like Richard Randall
Yeah.
to me. And that was his great grandfather, and he sold tonics in town. And then he had his hair grow like that, and then he would show everyone how to use those tonics.
And dentist. No, this is eye doctor because
Yes.
I see the little
And
projector.
and we have some dentistry too.
They had dentistry there,
And
and
here's our town optometrist and
yeah,
eye doctors.
optometrist. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is something we just received not too long ago, and it's Dr. Howe's medical bag.
Okay.
And all right, and the
And then Marshall Agner, medical doctor. This is a replica, and
Yes.
it's got a lot of his equipment in
and their
here.
family was responsible for this. They put in the money, and again, our talented native Blair Beam put this together.
Wow, this is
You know, the construction.
this is cool.
Isn't it nice?
Old microscope. So Marshall Agner, he's born in March 2nd of 1927 and passed away in February 6th of 2019.
He was my doctor. I guess he was yours too.
At one point in time, I think several of these were my
Yeah.
doctors, yeah. And then now we have a music exhibit over here, I see.
Yes, we have many talented
An old
Cherryville
sewing
natives.
machine here.
Yes, that was Dayberry's.
Yeah, here's music. Got Bart Fortenberry, Preston Long. Got,
Darren Aldridge.
yes, Brooke and Darren Aldridge. And then here we have some dealerships. At one time, Cherryville had a lot of car dealerships. Chevrolet, Ford, Chrysler.
Fraley, Kaiser, Marvin Bean.
And then, of course, Hal Strapp was very instrumental in the museum, but also he was instrumental on this scout display here, too.
Yes, Hal Strapp gave back a lot in his lifetime.
Yeah, the Troop 2, some old Boy Scout, Cub Scout. This is my dad's Cub Scout uniform right there.
Oh, wow, get a picture of that. Yeah, we have a strong history of Boy Scouts in Cherryville.
And Girl Scouts, too.
Yep.
And Brownies and Girl Scouts. We hope you enjoyed the Cherryville Historical Museum tour that was given. And if you haven't visited the museum, check it out.
It's open on Saturdays from 10 to 2 and by appointment, which you can reach by going to the museum website or calling them.
Yeah, so located on Main Street, 3 floors. That includes the original jail downstairs on the very first floor, and also the courtroom and fire department on the 3rd floor. So definitely check it out, guys.
Yeah, we tried to give you a brief overview. We actually toured it for a couple hours. We cut it down as much as we could, but it's a huge museum, very unique with 3 floors. So check it out. We don't know the future of the museum, but hopefully it will be there a year from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. And from the Wise News Network, I'm Rusty Wise.
I'm Jermaine Gash.
And I'm Mason Bean.
Have a great day.